I'll never forget that day in junior year. We were in the middle of a boring pop quiz, heads down, scratching answers on paper, when my teacher, Mr. Langley, suddenly stopped pacing. He leaned toward us and whispered, "Don't breathe too loud, he's listening." At first, I thought I'd misheard, but then he straightened up, scanning the room like a soldier waiting for gunfire. The entire class froze. A couple of kids giggled, thinking it was a bad joke, but the look on his face killed the laughter instantly. His eyes were wide, darting toward the corners of the ceiling like he was tracking something invisible. The chalk screeched against the board as he scribbled jagged shapes, circles, lines, erasing them violently before starting over. My stomach twisted at the sound of chalk snapping under his grip. Someone whispered, "What the hell is going on?" And Mr. Langley whipped his head around so fast we all jumped. "Quiet, do you want him to find us?" His voice cracked on the last word. No one dared laugh after that. The tension thickened until you could hear every shallow breath. Even the class clown sat stiff as a statue. And then it got worse. Mr. Langley strode to the classroom door, turned the lock, and slid the latch into place. The sound echoed louder than anything else in that room. A girl in the front row whispered, "Miss Langley, can you please unlock the door?" He pressed a finger to his lips so hard it turned white. "Shh, he's close." His voice trembled. Then, like he was possessed, he dragged a chair across the floor and jammed it under the knob. His breathing was sharp, erratic. And then came the line that chilled me to the bone. "One of you already talked to him. I can see it in your eyes." Every single head snapped up. The air buzzed with terrified whispers. "Who's him? What's he talking about?" Nobody dared move, but suspicion spread across the room like wildfire. Mr. Langley slammed his arm across his desk, sending stacks of quizzes fluttering to the ground. The sound of paper hitting the floor felt like gunshots in the silence. That was the moment it hit us. We weren't just in class anymore. We were trapped. A kid in the back stammered, "There's no one here but us." For a second, I thought Mr. Langley was going to snap. His jaw clenched and his eyes glazed over like he was somewhere else entirely. He muttered about voices in the vents, about being watched. Then, just as suddenly as it began, his shoulders slumped. "It's over," he whispered. "He's gone." He collapsed into his chair, covering his face with his hands like a man who'd just survived a war. The room stayed frozen until the bell rang. The normal shrill ring felt almost alien. That's when he stood up, calmly unlocked the door, and dismissed us like nothing had happened. We bolted. Some kids laughed nervously, others were pale as ghosts. I remember clutching my backpack so tight my knuckles ached. A week later, we heard Mr. Langley had been placed on leave. No official explanation. Rumors flew: nervous breakdown, paranoia, maybe something darker. But the thing that cemented this memory forever? When the janitor cleared out his classroom, they found a pile of papers stuffed in the back cabinet. Every single page was filled with the same phrase, written over and over in frantic handwriting. "Don't breathe too loud. He's listening." I still don't know who or Waith thought was listening, but to this day, whenever I sit in a quiet room and feel that heavy silence pressing in, I hear his voice again, whispering, warning.